Number 5, miscellaneous. A, discussion of preliminary budget as proposed by the Finance Committee. It has to be approved or discussed so that it can be transferred on to the state form in the way that it will be submitted. Are there any questions, or is there any discussion at this point?
Everybody should have gotten a rough draft. You know, you can review it. If you have any questions, you can ask them now, or you can come anytime between now and the next council meeting. That's when you will approve just the proposed. That won't be the final, but that'll be the proposed budget. And like I said, if you have any questions now, you sure may ask them and try to answer them, or at least get an answer for you. And if not, you can look it over for 2 weeks, and if you have any questions at that time, you can ask them then.
I didn't add everything up. What's their budget going to be? Is it less than last year or more, or we don't yet?
With those projects in there, probably more. You know, if you leave them in, and they're built in. You know, there again, if you don't do them, that's fine. But they're built in if you choose. If you know one you're not going to do for sure, you can take it out before we approve it for the final time.
We may have that information prior to this deadline. You think?
I think there's about $500,000 that's built in right now for your street construction project. Another $500,000 for the storm sewer, which would be on North 12th Early Street, and I think about $1 million, $1.1 million on your South 11th Street. I think those are the ones that are built in right now at this point in time.
For capital improvements.
Right.
Not part of the budget.
Right.
Well, it's part of the budget, but it's under capital improvements.
Right.
Speaking of that, remember when we met with Snyder and Associates, the last meeting, I believe it was, and they said they did the assessment of the sewer lines not being properly sized and or pitched. Who put the original sewer lines in?
Oh gosh.
Well, that's 40 years ago. Auto engineer, yeah, probably 40 years ago, wasn't it? That's 50 years ago, probably.
I mean, if they're not properly, are they still in business, for one? Is it something that we could look back and hold some kind of accountability towards them if they were not installed properly, rather than just overlooking it?
Would you think they were not installed properly, or would you think things would over time?
Some of it would be over time with
I think they're pretty shaky ground myself on that.
Really?
It's got to be 50, 60 years.
And Auto Clover isn't even in business anymore. It was subsequently bought by Keel and Pire.
But I mean, if we can prove it, I mean, if we have any, is there any inclination that we can, or is it not even worthwhile even investigating?
What, 50 years?
I don't pave that road, and I was in high school.
I'm just saying, he made a pretty confident statement that he stated that they were not pitched properly.
Well, and that might be based on today's standards compared to
Right,
today's standards.
I understand. They could have been sized properly back then. So
Right.
Okay, not just.
I guess if you get time, I'll talk to Colin about it. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Or even talk to Bob and get more information as to maybe he might know when they were put in and what the, there might be difference.
And the other thing is, some of this is not going to happen unless some of those grants come through. We based it on receiving grants, so that portion of this budget is not written in steel. It's a hopeful thing.
What was the budget in comparison to last year before the projects, what you all finalized at your meeting? Was it similar?
I've never seen a total.
Yes.
Similar.
Okay.
Very much similar.
Okay.
In fact, some items we actually decreased.
Okay.
All in all, I would say that it's going to run, except for those big capital improvement items, I would say that it's going to run pretty much the same. There were no huge increases. Wouldn't you agree with that? Okay. B, are we ready to approve the budget calendar? It's in your packet. It has February 11th, 25th, 26th, March 10th, and March 17th dates on it. Are you ready to approve that, and if so, would someone make a motion?
Sandy, if you can put it through that schedule, I think we can, if you can.
We have to. It's got to be certified to the auditor by the 17th, so we'll make it work.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve this calendar.
Also moved.
There's a second?
Second.
Call for a vote?
Councilman Frederick,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Muska,
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Motion carries.